Okay, we're going to get started. Okay, I want to welcome everybody to Canada Jobs Report, the 10-Minute Trades Trade Room. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the Trading Director at 10-Minute Trades. Please remember that all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so please trade carefully. So I've been watching the gold market because I want to do next week, we're going to do some opens and do more work on that. And today I wanted to test a single contract, and I'll talk about it in a minute. I've already missed. I really believe that if you want to trade the gold open, you should start 7:30 to 7:45 will probably give you the best opportunities. I think 7:45 might be a little bit late, but I know next week the schedule is going to be starting at 7:45. But there still are plenty of signals. But I think going forward, I'm probably going to lean more towards 7:30 if it's a day that we're going to trade possibly the gold open, which I won't be trading if there's major news at 8:30. Those are days that I will pass on the gold open. But let's talk Canada because initially that's why we're here. I do have but before we start on Canada, just want to give you my gold setup. Okay, my gold setup is a one-click range trade, and I'm not using the range. I'm getting in immediately, but I'm showing the range by clicking graphics on chart. Here's the key for today. There's a feature in our software, it's called break-even trigger ticks. If I have that set to 15, if the market moves 15 ticks, it'll move my stop to break even. So if I'm trading one contract, it's not going to fill any orders, but it's going to protect you from a loss if the market moves very strongly in your direction. Then it's up to you to exit if you feel you want to. What I'm doing is just if there's movement in my direction on a one contract trade where my target is 50, I want to move my stop to safety if the market moves 15 ticks. Okay, and this is just something I'm testing today. So it's called break even trigger ticks. You could set it to 20 ticks. The market moves 20 ticks, the stop will move to break even. You could set it to 10 ticks, but it doesn't fill any orders and it just moves the stop. That's all it does. Okay. When you have one contract trade, you can't use target one stop move because if you hit your target, you're out of the trade. So you're not having a small first target. This is because you have a bigger target because you're only trading one contract. I want to experiment with a few ways of trying to survive with a single contract trade rather than just taking the profit if it moves 15 ticks, because maybe it'll move 50, maybe it'll move 30. I'm just experimenting with it right now, so we'll see how it goes. So it's a one-click range trade, graphic shown on chart. I kind of like looking at the range, but you don't have to. Break even trigger ticks, I have it set to 15. The market moves 15 ticks, my stop goes to break even. My target is 50, and I'm just one contract, and my stop is 23. And like I said, it's a one-click range trade. All right, that's my gold setup, and I'm watching using tick strike to see if there's strong signals. The gold open is at 820. It's hard to concentrate on the gold open when we're working on an 8 o'clock, 8:30 trade. So, my goal is to concentrate on our breakout trades if we have one. So Canada is now on 6C, 622. Canada is not known for high liquidity and great fills. It's a lot of slippage. I do have my orders, okay? Not my orders, the news results off to the side so I don't take up room on the charts. And they're expecting good job numbers. Last month they were negative. This month they're looking at 160,000, possibly positive. So they're looking for good job numbers with Canada. Okay. Chantal, what do you think? You're in Canada. How's the economy over there? Are people working, or are things open? Is everything shut down? What's going on in Canada? What do you think? You read the local papers probably, or you online papers. No one gets papers anymore. What's a paper? So my setup for Canada, these are tough trading markets this week. It would be great if there was a ceasefire. That would just be awesome. The markets are up today because of the possibility. Is it rumor? Who knows? So I'm listening to what you're saying, Chantal. I'm definitely paying attention. So if you want to type in anything you want to type in to tell us what's going on in Canada is great. It's helpful. So here's my Canada setup. I'm probably only willing uh, to trade one contract as my final trade of the week, and it's going to be a big bracket, okay? And because normally Canada is a good solid trade when it trades with US, okay? Sometimes Canada is not as good when it trades by itself as a jobs report. But again, if it's good solid numbers, it could be a good move. But you also have the issue with Canada of dealing with liquidity, not great fills. So I'm willing to trade one contract. I've got a bracket of 14, which is pretty big for this trade. Normally it would be about 8 to 10. And I'm going to look, it's already making the move, which concerns me. I'm going to make the bracket 15 this morning. It may be that, we've seen this before this week where the move sometimes has been made in an index before the report. It's not that it's reacting to the news, it's just the index moves and then the report comes out and the report isn't strong enough to make the index burst. So that happens, and it's just something we have to deal with. There's nothing you can do about it. So I'm going to do one position. I'm going to look for 20 ticks. It could really reverse quickly. That's possible. Canada could also move 50 ticks and fill you in the middle or to the high part of the candle where you only get a 20 tick target. So that's why it's difficult to get a 50 tick profit out of Canada. It is difficult. What you could do also is we could go for 40 and just be very prepared. 25 tick stop. Be prepared to move your stop, or why not use the break even trigger ticks so that if it moves 20 ticks and it explodes and reverses instantly or really quickly, maybe we could protect against not being able to get out of the market fast enough. Because if it moves 30 ticks, our stop would move to break even under this scenario. If it stays in the direction that it moved, we should be able to move our stop into the price action and get our target, get a target, okay? If it hits 40 ticks, then it gives you your target. I do not anticipate that, but it really depends on the significance of the move. It's a breakout trade, and the entry time is 8:30. 8:30. It's a breakout trade, and I'm going to label the trade Canada Jobs. And again, make sure if you're trading it, you're on 6 Canada 0622. Now I'm going to stay in the room for the oil until the oil open, okay? Just to do some one contract experimenting this morning, all right? And we'll go over a lot of what we went over yesterday. So first things first, oil, the gold open is at 820. And that I'm testing with a single contract. Canada, I'm trading live, looking for 40 ticks. I don't really expect that many. I'm moving my stop with the command break even trigger ticks. That's set to 20. That moves my stop to break even if the market moves 20 ticks. My bracket is 15. It might be a little big, but look how much Canada has moved already. The move may be done. If I don't get a fill, I'll probably give it 15 to 20 seconds, which is usually pretty good for a jobs report. Usually a jobs report will fill fast. They usually aren't slow in filling. So, but we'll play it by ear. We'll make sure that we can hear, that I can hear in my headset that the news is out. I don't want to cancel the trade before the news is out. And I think with a 15 bracket, I think that we won't get filled early. So one more time, a 15 bracket, break even trigger ticks is 20. That moves my stop to break even if the market moves more 20 ticks or more. My first target, my only target is 40 ticks, and I'm using a 25 tick stop. Entry time, activation time is 8:30. It's a breakout trade. And that's my Canada setup. Okay. And you know what I want to do is like I always do. Let me just look at my bracket by setting the time early. You know what I'm talking about. I'm just looking at the size of the bracket, making sure my charts are on simulation when I do that. You don't want to put yourself in an order in a trade. Canada Sim. 15 is a pretty big bracket. Now, Canada did the magnet trade. Canada did a big early magnet trade. And it works for almost any type of an index. But you see how price was down. I was here in the room and it started moving up, getting pulled into the high because that's a magnet. The high is a magnet. It often pulls the index. That price is a magnet. That's the best way I can explain it. That price is a magnet. We see it all the time. We talk about it all the time in the room. Yes, it's anecdotal, but it's anecdotal because I haven't tested magnet trades. It would take 100 years to test magnet trades, probably. You'd have to load up random market times. It's just not feasible to test magnet trades. But we here's a good word. We anecdotalize them. That's not a word. We anecdotalize them in the room. I think we just made up a word. Since I'm yakking, let me make sure that I set my time right. Anecdotalize, good word. Activation 8:30. Okay. So now gold open, let's check our time sync. All right. So Chantal, missing employees everywhere. Sounds like there will be a lot of job open, a lot of jobs, that it'll be a good jobs report. Time dot is, I go to that website and that puts me in sync. Okay. So I hope everybody's okay this morning. I'm using the tick strike indicator just on gold right now. And I'll probably remove gold after the gold open before 8:30 and put Canada on. So the gold open is 8:20. So I'm not doing anything with Canada now. My trade's set up and I'm taking the trade. And what's going to be is going to be on the Canada trade. So I can concentrate on the gold open. Now, there were a bunch of decent signals on this move up with gold this morning. It's not easy as a discretionary trader to take longs when the gold market's down $24. But what makes it easier? You've made a whole bunch of new lows, and we all know that at some point, price it reverses direction at a low and at a high. It has to, because it never stays in the same place, right? So it's either going to go through it as a continuation or it's going to reverse. Obviously, they're both incredibly popular reactions to a price level. You can see what was happening here. You've got the squeeze helping you, okay? And I'm watching tick strike, and the signals were green and positive more than negative. They were not phenomenal, but they were steady. Okay. There were a few opportunities before we got into the room to take the gold long. Now, you just don't know what's going to happen. My gut feeling is, hey, we had a good retrace and the gold open is going to be short. And it's going to go back and test the low and go through it. That's just a thought. It doesn't mean I'm going to take the trade. I want a signal at least 8. And there's a couple of different ways we can trade opens. We can wait for a market gift. Never trade unless we get a market gift, which people would not enjoy that as much, but you might make more money in the long run. Market gift means tremendous noise from the indicator, strong bursts. It's not an unreasonable way to trade. You can tell yourself, hey, listen, I'm only trading market gifts. And you could get up, watch the market. You don't get your gift, you go away. And you still have other trades you're going to take. You don't want to do probably don't want to do everything as a market gift, although, you could. A market gift, how I define a market gift, as very clear cut signals that you feel are so strongly powerful that they're going to work, and they do work. That's how I'd probably define a market gift. When a market does exactly what your indicators and price action show it's going to do, and it does it. So 8:20 is the open. I don't know what's going to happen. Sometimes there are signals before 8:20. In these current markets, now remember, before I say in these current markets, we're testing with one contract. I personally think it's obviously less monetary risk to trade with one contract, but it's harder. It's it's more manageable if you can take a profit at an early point in a trade and still be in the trade. It's much more difficult to have a target because you never know where that target's going to get hit. You don't know the distance that your target's going to go when you're using one. Gold's open. So I'm waiting and listening. So it looks like it wants to go up, but it could be trying to fake you out. Now, I think the market might be faking us out. Okay. So I can protect myself, though, no matter what. I'm a little bit tight. I'm a little bit tight here. I'm a little bit tight, meaning my price is a little bit close. I'm going to get stopped on a pullback. Okay. Turn the trade back on. Wait for another signal. See why one contract much harder than multiple contracts? Much harder. It was a good signal. It didn't have a ton of follow through. Not bad though. Not bad. Now, you may not want to show the range because I'm not trading the range. I'm just looking at it. I'm not going to wait until it goes down through the range. If it gives me a strong signal, I'll take it. See, that almost seemed like it was going to burst, but it didn't. It just burst and died. Those are the hardest, right? Those are the hardest. Now, I think maybe the range might make you think a certain direction. It might be better to have it off because I think the range can cloud your thought of direction. So I think I'm going to leave it off. I'm not going to change it now in case there's a super strong signal. So you're waiting and listening and relaxing, waiting, relaxing. Looks like it now wants to go down. Maybe you don't know. But it's interesting how it was pretty strong up, but it dribbled up for quite a part of that move. That candle was mostly without signals, right? The candle was mostly without signals. That's why it looks like a much better move. If you came into the market and looked at the chart, you'd say, wow, the gold open was incredible. I bet the signals were phenomenal. But we know they weren't. There were no signals. Now, in a couple of minutes, I'm just going to move over to Canada and turn my gold off because we're here for Canada. Maybe we'll get one more strong signal, maybe not. The signals, they have not been spectacular this morning. It's Friday also. So I'll go to 825 and then I'm just going to watch Canada. Now, see, I was late. My hand was late. Everything I did was late. That's going to kill me. All right. Because I know I'm getting out of Canada. I was late. I'm going to get stopped. If you don't get you want double signals, if you know what I mean. But sometimes if you wait for doubles, you're going to miss it. I was really late getting into that, so it probably will stop me right there. And that's okay. Look, we're experimenting. One contract is really hard to trade, I believe. Now, maybe my theory that it's finally going to go down is going to come to fruition. Maybe the real strong signals are the downside. Could be. So it's 8:25. You have to be really fast. I think that when you have a morning like this morning, you might want to wait and see if you get strong follow through on the signals. There really hasn't been good follow through this morning on the signals. Yes, it is rollover for ES, NQ, and YM this morning. So I'm going to look at Canada right now. I'm going to keep, I'm going to put oil on, okay? I'm going to wait. Let's leave gold until this report is done. Let me just change my video. Give me a second. Now, a lot of people don't like trading Fridays. When I was doing a lot of discretionary trading, most of the trade rooms that I was involved in did very little Friday trading. They did not like trading Fridays. I don't think that that's all that meaningful. So I'm going to watch Canada, see if there's bursting signals or not. We can be lunatics and check our time sync again by going to the website time.is. And I want to thank everybody on YouTube. We're going to close the YouTube stream after the Canada trade. So Canada has gotten pretty calm. It might be that our bracket is way too big in this market. It might be the bracket is too big. I really think it is. Canada's getting a signal, and it's pretty strong signals. It's not really moving much on them, which is kind of interesting. I'm going to shrink my bracket just a little bit on Canada from 15 down to 12, okay? It's normally 10 on this report. Not a huge difference. And then I'm going to stick around and we'll start watching the oil market. And it's very interesting how gold got very quiet. You know, look, Canada jobs, it's a serious news report. You know, Canada has some importance in the world. It's not a gigantic economy. Um, I'm sorry that I don't know off the top of my head how big of how big of an economy Canada has, say, compared to a state like the state of Texas or something like that. I'd be curious. But I think the market does look at Canada jobs, you know, like it looks at. I'm just thinking at the, you know, is Canada jobs as important as Australia jobs? I think Australia jobs is probably less important than Canada jobs. My gut is that we're not going to get filled. That's what I'm thinking, but I'm not sure. So the news is decent. Definitely going to shrink my stop. I wish I could get out of this trade with a small profit because I don't like the way the price is moving. It didn't go much above. See how bad the fill was in terms of the fill was bad in terms of liquidity. So I would love to just get out and just cover my expenses. We didn't get a good enough move. It's chopping around. I don't want to lose money. It may go up, but it was just a miserable move in terms of slippage. That was my concern, that the slippage would be terrible. That was my worry. That's why I traded it with pretty low risk, just one contract. And that's kind of why I wanted to get out. Okay. That's why I wanted to get out. And look, no harm done, no loss, no signals on the reversal. I'm not really that interested, I don't think, in taking a reversal. I want to watch the oil market. The news was very good. So, it should probably push up. It was great news, right? It was great news. It probably should push up. But I think now we would have had a great gold move. See, watching that gold market, I'm going to pick my battles carefully in these current markets. Okay, I'm going to pick our battles as good as we possibly can. That's my goal, to pick our battles. So Canada's just sitting around where it was, no foul, nothing exciting going on. Gold is still here. Would have been a real strong open if we waited. So my gut feeling, gold opens at 820. Today, the move was later than normal, but it's probably related to the Canada jobs report. We're seeing gold give us better moves on other countries' news than some of our own. So trust me when I say that in my journal, I'm notating very strongly that gold may very well be a powerful trade on Canada jobs. And there was another trade yesterday that gold moved fantastic on. And I'll go through my notes and make sure that's checked next time also. So I think you'll get some upward movement in Canada. David, go ahead. Okay, so let me go to oil. Give me a second, folks, to just get set up. Canada jobs. So that was my concern, slippage. It's exactly what happened with Canada. Let me put on our recorder. David, you can ask the question. I'll get to it in a second. Now, I'm not interested in trading gold now. I'm not saying you can't. And at some point, I'll get to the point. I'll get to the point of trading multiple markets with multiple, like we always do. Right now, I'm just warming up to different opens. Okay, I'm warming up to different opens. So David came to our webinar last night. We had a webinar with Right Line Trading. And so here's the hardest question I can be asked about. So I'm watching. Let me set up my oil trade. Again, I don't like trading one contract, but I'm just testing today. Just testing. So I'm loading a template. Gold is testing that low. What did I say when we got here before? I'm going to start from scratch. Let me start from scratch. So if it makes sense to trade these opens for 15 minutes at least after they open. 820 would get you to now, and you'd see that move starting if you give yourself those 15 minutes. Okay. I think it makes a lot of sense to go 15 minutes past the opens. So I'm starting from scratch here. I'm going to watch gold. I'm not trading it this morning now. And I'm setting up for the oil open. So here's my setup. Like I said, I really don't like trading one contract. So you know what? I'm not going to, because I don't think in real life I'm going to be able to. So my oil setup that we've been doing, we did it most of the week, a couple of times that we did it. Now, there's no point, never panic if you start seeing targets as you're setting up. Signals, there's going to be more. There's going to be more, right? So my targets on oil are 7. Let's make it 7 and 30. Make it 9 and 30. Okay. Although, I think today we've shown that 7 is not always so easy to get. Let's leave it where it was, 7 and 30. The stop we thought yesterday really should have been a little bigger than 19. I'm making it 24 today. I'm not going to show the graphics. But if it hits my first target, I'm going to move my stop to break even -4. I'm only going to make a few dollars if it hits my first target and then reverses. Okay. So I'm using a one-click range trade. I would enter immediately. So the range, the look back, the time, none of that matters. All you need is number of contracts, positions. So I got 2. I'm looking for 7 ticks and 30 ticks, stop of 24, and a break even -4 if target 1 is hit. It's a one-click range, and I'm not showing the range because I think the range, showing the range, and we'll see how we feel about it. I think showing the range influences your decision direction incorrectly sometimes. That's why I don't want to show it. So I want to thank everybody on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. And sign up for our channel. Give us a couple of likes if you would before you go. Thank you for the likes. And hit the notification bell after you sign up so you know when we're streaming next.